Hello everybody, this is Terry Jeanette with Be Creative. This little girl right here, I'm turning her into a jellyfish princess. I've already got her earrings done and her little charm that hangs on her pole, her little pole that changes her eyes out. I've got the little skirt all made, and this video we're actually going to make her a little crown. So there's several ways you can actually embellish this crown. The basic form is a circle with some fabric hanging down. I'll go into more details on what this looks like in another example, but let me show you what you need in order to create this project. All right, so as far as supplies go, you're going to need some wire. I recommend 20 gauge or more, and I'll get into a little bit more detail about that in just a second. You're also going to need some fabric. I used, for her skirt, I used a combination of a couple of fat quarters, and I have a lot left over, so I'm going to be using that for her crown. So for the crown, we're going to be wrapping the fabric around this form, and that's what you're going to use your wire for. And now I'm using some floral wire that I got an abundance of. A friend of mine, she was destashing her craft room years ago, and so I have all this craft wire, and it works really well to make these circular forms. So that's what I'm using. And then I'm going to use some 20 gauge wire, some just 20 gauge craft wire to wire around the loop to keep the fabric on. And then I will add beads to that. These are the E beads that I used on this. And I'm probably going to use these on this next project and some other beads that I have in my stash. I just want to make sure that the beads will fit on this wire. Okay. And see, is that all? Oh, tools. You're going to need wire cutters, and some flat nose pliers. And I believe that's everything. So the first thing we're going to do is we're going to take your wire and we're going to make a loop, and we want it to fit on top of her head. Okay, now this one I made a little small. And so what I've been doing, where are my little clips here? Here they are. I have these little clips that I've been putting on here to keep her little crown on. I should have made it a little bit bigger, but it's working. So this one that I'm going to make is actually going to be a little bit bigger than this, and I need to use her head as a pattern, as a guide. Now this one I made, and it does fit her head a lot better. But I will probably, if I was to use this, I still probably would use clips to put it in her hair. Okay, so you take your wire and you're just going to make a loop. Using her head as a guide. You don't want it too big. And it looks wonky, but it won't. Don't worry about it going, oh my goodness, it's not going to look good. Once you've got the size you need, and take into consideration your fabric too, that's going to take up a little room. So take that into consideration. But then you're just going to wrap your excess wire, which I'm going to, no, she's going to be fine. And wrap it around. Okay. And then just kind of shape it a little bit. And you might want to take your pliers and just squeeze the little ends in. And like I said, this doesn't need to be really pretty, okay? All right, that's good enough, because actually, you don't want this poking your doll, but it's going to be covered up with fabric, okay? So there is your form. Don't worry that it looks messy though. So the next thing we're going to do is we're going to take our fabric and we're going to rip strips. Now these, I'm going to use these, the skinnier strips for the back here. So you're going to need a pair of scissors too. Forgot about that. All right, so I cut about 1 inch, just a little trim there, little clip, and rip it down. Okay, and then I'm going to cut this in half. And see, this is what you're going to wrap your crown. I'm going to continue to do this all the way around. Let me get my wire out, because once you get it all the way around to here, you're going to want to start wiring. And it looks like I need another piece. Okay. So I'm just going to continue here, wrapping around. And it's staying pretty good. Okay, it's not coming undone. So you can just continue to wrap around. Now I'm feeling around for those ends. I don't want them poking out. And right now I'm just gonna cut, just a little bit. And I'm gonna start securing all this. All right, so that is pretty secured. And you know what? I'm going to get a little bit more wire. My wire goes from here to here. I want to put some more wire up here just to secure it a little bit. And then I'm going to start adding my beads. All right. And see how it's a lot more evenly round? Now, you know what? I might want to add a little bit of pink to it. Her hair and this is exactly the same color. And since she has pink in her skirt, I may add a little bit of pink. I know there's going to be pink hanging down the back, but I think I want some up here too. So I think what I'm going to do, here, this may be a better angle. I'm going to Probably cut about 1 foot of wire. Set that aside. And I'm going to start about right here and kind of go in the middle and just I don't want a whole lot. Let's see. Let's try this. I'm just kind of winging this as I go. Oh, there we go. I like that. See how I'm twisting this to make it thinner? It's just basically layering. And then we're going to add some beads to it. All right, I'm going to finish this up, and then we're going to start adding beads to it. All right, so this is what I have here. I had some left over. I'm just going to leave that because I'm actually going to put some beads and start beading around it. But I really like how this turned out. And, you know, you don't really even have to bead it if you don't want. The strips are going to hang down from here. So we'll do that here in a little bit. And you don't have to do yours how I'm doing mine. You could just wrap one color. You could wrap several different colors. But this is what we have here. This is wrapped with one type of fabric. This is wrapped with one type of sari ribbon. Okay. So for now, I think I'm just going to use these beads. And I'm just going to start putting them on the wire and continue to wrap the wire. Let's see. Try and do a little variation here. It's random, but not. And then I'm going to go ahead and wrap this, and let's see. This is where you use your flat nose pliers just to tuck that in. And I'm going to get some more wire. And let's see. we want to make sure that we're tucking in any of these wires that are sticking out. And you can take your wire and cover them up too, okay? I'm going to go ahead and finish wrapping this with the beads, and then I'll come back and show you how to do the strands to hang down the back. So I've got this all finished, and you know what? You could be done with it right there. She would look so pretty just with this, okay? Here. Look how pretty. And you could probably even maybe take a bead or something and hang down here, and it could hang on her little forehead. There's all different kinds of things you can do. But I want to hang some little, these down here. And now these are kind of long. These are going to be a little bit shorter. So I just tore the strands like I did for this and cut them in half so they're not so long. And they're not very wide. Maybe 1/3 of an inch. I don't know. So the way I'm going to attach these is, let's see how many we have. 1, 2, 3, 4 of the blue and 3 of the pink. So I'm just going to put it in half like this. Put it under the form, loop it over like so. And I kind of want these to be uneven. I don't want them to be even. I want some of them longer than others, okay? And let's see, I'll do another blue one. I don't know if I'm going to use all these or not. We'll have to see. So basically, I just put it in half, looped it through the form, and so you have a loop here. So I'm just going to grab the ends through that loop and pull. And you kind of have to mess with feeding it the right way because it could get hooked onto those beads and stuff, okay? And then separate those out and pull one end and the other end gently. Let's see. Do another one. Pull it. I don't know, I may do one more. You just kind of have to mess with a little bit. Some of them are going to be turned, which is fine. I think that's all I'm going to put on there. What I might do too is I think I'm going to get some hemp, and I'm going to add beads to this hemp. See how this looks. When you're creating, sometimes you might have something in your head that you think you want to create, and as you're creating, for various reasons, it could be that maybe what you were thinking of didn't work, or you didn't like what you were thinking of. It wasn't coming out how you had pictured it in your mind, and so you want to change it a little bit, and that's okay. That's all part of creating. I actually like to do that. Whenever I start a project, I have in mind kind of what's going to happen, but a lot of times it's like, that's not what I had in mind, and I change it, and that's okay. In fact, sometimes I like that. Let's see, we've got 2, 4, 6, 8, 10. Let's do a couple more. 12. Let's see, let's do, that's 14, 16. That'll be enough. Okay, so then I'm going to knot the end here, double knot it. Oh, okay, now if that happens, that's okay, because you can just triple knot it and kind of feed it in there. There you go. And then I'm going to bring these down. And I'm probably going to do 2 of these, or maybe even 3. Okay, I want to knot the end here. And then I'm going to separate these out. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. We got 8 and 8. And then I'm just going to go this way. Do the same thing, just make a loop. You need to make sure all the beads are down though. Loop those ends in, pull it tight. So you got some beads there. I'm going to do 2 more of these, and then I'll be right back to show you what I plan on doing next. So I've got 2 of them in there. I made 1 more. Let me put it in here. Just going to loop it through like I did the fabric. And I want it in between these 2 here. Let me go ahead and do that, and then I can just guide it where I want it. Make sure that bead gets where I want it. There we go. Okay, now once I get it how I want it, there we go, kind of in the groove there, I'm just going to tie it in a knot. That goes there. Make sure those beads are right. These beads are giving me grief. The other 2 were really easy to put on, but now that I'm showing you this, okay, there we go. So tighten it up, and that way it's not going to come loose. Okay, and then the next thing I'm going to do, I need a special instrument though. You need a pointy object. I'm using a bead reamer, but you can use like a needle or a pen. And I'm going to take these and I'm going to fray them out so they're very like a tassel, very boho. Anyway, let me fray these out, all these little tassels here. And then I'll put this on her. And we'll see what it looks like. Because after I get this done, we're finished. And I got her crown all done. Oh, I love how it turned out. I love the colors. Here's how it turned out in the back. All I need to do is do something with the top. I think I just might do a little simple piece of fabric. tied into like a, what do they call those? A bandeau? I don't think that's how you say it, but just a little piece of fabric around her tatas. And she is ready to go. And like I said, the way I have this in her hair, I just use these little clips. I may even be able to fix her hair where I could maybe put a braid around the crown. But there we go. There she is. So pretty. You know what? I think my granddaughters would like a crown like this. Maybe I'll have to make them one someday. Thanks for joining me, and y'all have a great day. This is Terry Jeanette with Be Creative, signing out for now. Bye-bye.